Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Anime Night in the Dojo. Today's featured show, Slime, Season 4.
Hi up, Slime. Season 4, Episode 5. Welcome back to the Dojo. I'm Ryu. It's Age. We're back for more Anime Night in the Dojo, and well, last time, Rimuru left Shion with the keys to the kingdom. If this was Season 1 Shion, we'd be in trouble. But it seems to me that people forget that Shion has gotten her shit together since the ramen incident. So it'll be totally fine. It'll probably be okay, you know. It'll definitely be more okay than it used to be.
Yeah, it'll be more okay than previous attempts at this.
Yeah. So maybe we'll get, if they do Slime Diaries Season 2, maybe we'll get the Shion side of this story if we don't get it in the main series. You know, like what happened with Shion when she was put in charge. That kind of thing. Because Rimuru has to go deal with the council, and once again, you guys, if you don't know the history of the Holy Roman Empire, I very much suggest it, because it definitely feels like this is what Fuse is doing with this. You know what I mean? It's been kind of alluded to, and now it's just we've been bashed over the head with it. So we're going to make a lot of Holy Roman Empire references. So if you don't know what that is, I don't really want to explain it.
Which we already have.
We also kind of have already explained it, and I don't want to have to explain it every time. So if you didn't see the part where we explained it, go look up the Holy Roman Empire and what all the elector systems and what all the city-states entailed with that, because that seems to be what the Council of the West is. Riberio seems to be kind of like, you know, one of the bigger players, like Austria, that kind of thing. So we'll just have to see. But as it stands, we're probably going to make a lot of HRE references. Holy Roman Empire, HRE, that's what we're going to be. So if you don't know it, learn some European history, because it's probably going to be fairly relevant, because that's what they seem to be doing here. And a lot of those member states seem to, be very, very similar to what happens there. You know what I mean? You can make the argument to like the probably the provinces and all the stuff that happened in like China during the Qing dynasty, that kind of thing, the Wu dynasties, those kind of things as well. But there was far more nonsense politicking in the Holy Roman Empire than in China, because in the East it was different. That's the easiest way to put it without really going into it, and we don't have time for that.
A big part of the Holy Roman Empire was just the fact that most of the city-states had no real sense for politics beyond just politicking amongst themselves, and the only time they ever really cared about anything outside the HRE is when something outside the HRE was attacking the HRE.
Yeah. And that definitely seems to be what is going on here, because they were like, well, we should just let him join so that we can use his army to protect ourselves from France. So, you know, that is what it is. But it will be interesting to see. I'm sure it's going to be meetings, and I have seen a lot of people since we're doing Slime, seen a lot of stuff that we talked about with like ReZero popping up and people talking about like Subaru's parents. I've seen a lot of people who've dropped the series over the meetings, and it's just like, then you didn't understand what the series was about, and you're a fool. You know what I mean? The first time I watched this series, I was like, oh, this is going to be a world building series, so there's probably going to be stuff very similar to Log Horizon and stuff like that. And as much as I don't like the amount of politicking they did in Log Horizon, the world building series is something that is very few and far between, and this show still has a lot of very good moments. And yes, there were a lot of meetings last season, but that's what world building is. So if you don't understand what you're getting into after the first, season, you didn't really understand the thread that was being done here. You know what I mean? And especially with, and I'll talk more about it when we get to another one of the things that people are complaining about, but I can't talk about it until we get there because it's technically a spoiler. It's not really a story spoiler. It's more of a singular one-off character event that spawned people talking about something based on what a character does. Okay? So I can't say any more than that. And until we get there, and I'll talk about how ridiculous it is, but a lot of people are just like, at the end of the day, yes, it's a lot of meetings, but there's still a lot of very good character interactions and world building that are going on that need to be appreciated for this. It's not just them sitting in a meeting and it being like a boring board meeting. You know what I mean? A lot of the stuff that happened at the early parts of this season, the first couple of episodes of this, with them doing the Dungeon Dominator stuff and them getting, Maribel's backstory and stuff like that. That was still totally fine. Even last season, the meeting stuff was interesting. They were establishing characters. They were establishing what Adelman was going to do. They were establishing what these characters were doing. And you see in a lot of other series, pick your favorite series. It doesn't matter what it is. People always want more about their characters, and Fuse is giving you a ton of stuff about even side characters, and then you go and complain about their doing too much exposition on side stuff in meetings. So these are the same people that complain like, a random side character in Naruto doesn't get enough screen time or enough development, but then we'll say that, they like this show, but there's too many meetings. It's like Fuse is giving you everything that Naruto or whatever the other show is didn't. So what's your problem? You know what I mean? That's the issue that I take with a lot of this stuff, is like, it's always the same people that make these arguments. It's just like, but for this show, you wanted this kind of stuff. So for Naruto or Bleach or wherever, it doesn't matter. Pick your favorite, whatever, it doesn't matter. You see those arguments, it's like, hold on. Aren't you the guy who was complaining about not enough this, and then Fuse is giving you this, exactly this, and you're now complaining that you're getting this? You cannot be serious right now. Are you listening to your own arguments? Are you listening to yourself talk? So that's what I take issue with, that kind of thing, is like, it's always the same group of people, or people, same exact person down to the T, that are just, they complain about one series not having exactly this, and then this series gives them exactly what they're asking for, and then say, oh, well, this is stupid, there's too many meetings.
It's typical double standards and bias with series.
Yeah. But either way, all that stuff aside, I'll be interested to see what goes on here. I'm sure there's going to be more than just meetings in this season, because they're going to have to deal with Maribel. I'm still fairly certain that Yuki, not Masayuki, I have to clarify that every time just in case everybody forgot, Yuki is playing her. I don't think he can be controlled, because I don't remember if it was in the anime. It might have been like an off thing in the game in Isekai Memories that I'm remembering from Yuki's backstory, but I do believe that there was something that was mentioned about otherworlders of any kind not being susceptible to like mental suggestion or any kind of power like Maribel's, you know what I mean? Or they could like overrule, like say how Maribel taps into a person's greed inherently, that kind of thing. Let's say if Yuki wants to rule the world more than she does, he could supersede it because he's also an otherworlder, that kind of thing. So I don't remember if that was mentioned by him in the anime, or it might have been something in Isekai Memories, which all that stuff is technically canon for the most part. So I'd assume that we might be getting something like that with, with how they've been playing up Yuki throughout this series. I can't imagine they're just going to sideline him, like Fuse would sideline him in that kind of way of just like being Maribel's puppet. You know what I mean? I think he's playing the game. You know what I mean? So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that at the very least. So, but anyway, all that stuff aside, we're going to push some buttons and get going here. So people on Patreon, we'll see you on the other side of the edit for the timer reaction, and people on YouTube Beyond, we'll see you on the other side for the discussion and review, and all links to various things are down there in the description. Feel like, and we appreciate you no matter what. So, yep, here goes something. Well, alrighty then, there you guys have it. Don't you hate hot guys? They look good in anything. Hate it. Hate it. We hate it here, which, well, once again, we've talked about this kind of thing with the whole, like, Gobta thing, with, like, oh, it must be super difficult having a bunch of women fawn over you if you're Benimaru, coming from Rimuru, and Gobta, like, calls him out. It's like, you're kidding me, right? In this case too, it's like Rimuru, you realize you are technically a hot guy and a hot girl at the same time because you're a slime and you're androgynous.
Yeah, I mean, once again, I mentioned this to you when we were first starting it, but like they downplayed in the anime, but even freaking Rimuru fawns over Betty Maru a fair amount in the early bits.
Yeah.
So once again, they downplay his male attraction in the anime.
Yeah, because well, at the end of the day, he still has all his human memories, and he was a guy. So
yeah,
before we open any can of worms, he was attracted to women. It's just what it was. But yeah, things can change. That's totally fine. You can find Benny Maru attractive. It's not a big deal. But it's just one of those things where, you know, Rimuru just doesn't realize that, you know, he has women and probably men fawning over him. Cough, Diablo, cough. And he is also a hot guy and hot girl at the same time.
Even if everyone likes to dress him up and treat him like a child.
Right, exactly. Which, again, to be fair, he is like 2.5 years old. Chronologically in this world.
Yeah.
Overall, he's now like almost 40. But still. It's still one of those things where it's you gotta appreciate the comedy for what it was. It's nice to have them like in casual clothes. We've talked about the characters changing clothes and stuff like that from time to time, so that was fine. Hinata giving him shit, you know, I mentioned that during the reaction of like, you know, would you like some coffee with your sugar?
Yeah.
And this relationship these two have is kind of hilarious because once again, she was isekai'd when she was like 16 and now she's like 25, right? But once again, Rimuru still has 15 years of life experience on her, and she never got into like the corporate world of like middle manager that he was. You know what I mean? He was 37 when he was isekai. You know what I mean? When he was killed.
Yeah, he actually like went through adult life in the real world. We never got her exact age, but she was a high schooler, so at most 18 when she got isekai.
Yeah, at most 18. So.
And she's been here longer than he has by several years, but that still puts her quite a bit younger than him.
Yeah, so this relationship is always going to be hilarious. And there was something that I saw recently with there's this new show that everybody is going off about like it's like smoking behind the convenience store with you, and it's like a guy in his like late 30s, and the love interest character is like a woman that's like 21. It's like, oh, this age gap is disgusting, and it's just like, have you guys never seen a 15-year age gap? Like, my dad was 10 years older than my mom. You know what I mean? Like, it's not really that big of a deal. You see it all over the place, especially with like celebrity stuff. It's like Bill Belichick, the former Patriots head coach, he's 73 and he's dating a 24-year-old. There's a 50-year age gap there. You know what I mean? So you're weirded out by a 15-year age gap. It's like, oh, he was literally an adult when she was born. It's like he's not dating the toddler version of her. She's a full-on 20-plus-year-old adult woman. What's the big deal here? You know what I mean? You see all this stuff like oh man, like I saw something recently with like people calling Ichigo a pedophile because Orihime is short. It's like, my mom is 5'1". You know what I mean?
Also, Ichigo and Orihime are the same age.
Yeah, they're the same age. It's like, so because she's short, he's a pedophile? Like, what? Like, some of these things that people come up with for some of this crap, it's like absolutely outlandishly ridiculous. You know what I mean? It's just like, there are age gaps, and it's not a big deal. You know what I mean? Once you're an adult, it doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? It's only a problem if you're actually a pedophile, or you were like grooming somebody and then did something with them once they became an adult. But like in the case of that anime that's going off right now, it's like if you as a 38-year-old guy meet somebody for the first time when they were 23 and decided to start dating her then, so what? It's not like you were grooming her from the time she was 12. You know what I mean? The context matters. You know what I mean? It's like, obviously this person was grooming this person because they're together. It's like, I met her 3 weeks ago for the first time ever when I moved to this town. You know what I mean? People
generally
always
speaking, the only time-
always assume the worst for the drama bait. You know what I mean? They never give people the benefit of the doubt anymore. It's like, oh, clearly he's been grooming her since she was whatever. It's like, no. Like, I saw like a Reddit story recently of like guy in like a similar position, and the younger girl had a child from her high school boyfriend that they were the same age, and she got pregnant when she was 16. And like everybody looked into this guy as like the bad guy because like, oh, well, he got her pregnant when she was 16 and he was 23. You know, he's scum. It's like, no, I'm just the stepdad. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no. On the Orihime and Ichigo thing, they're in the same year of high school, so they're less than a year apart.
Yeah.
And in general, for the age gap stuff, age gap really only starts becoming a problem in about 25 years, when it's like a full generation apart.
Yeah.
There starts becoming issues because there is a very big mindset difference between generations, and like people can totally make it work. It's just that's when there starts becoming real, like tangible problems in the age gap,
Right.
and not just like social perspective, but like actual problems in the relationship between the two people.
Yeah. And that's why I bring up the Bill Belichick thing, because that is a 50-year age gap. That's 2 freaking generations plus right there. And they can say whatever they want. If they get along just fine, that's their business, but you can't tell me she's not using him for clout. Her net worth has increased from basically nothing to over 8 million. Okay. Let's be real about that. She can like him all she wants. They can make all the publicity bullshit that they have as much as they want. She has massively benefited from just hanging out with Bill Belichick and acting like his girlfriend for years now. You know what I mean? So everybody has an agenda. Everybody has a price. You know? I don't know the ins and outs of their relationship, obviously, but come on. You know what I mean? Sometimes a gray dot's a gray dot. If he's cool with her using him to make money, so be it. You know what I mean?
Sometimes you date an old guy for 10 to 15 years and become a millionaire off of it.
Yeah. I mean, that is what it is. That's what you want to do with your life. It's your life. But it's if they get along and the relationship's fine and there's not a really big deal, then who cares? It doesn't affect me. You know what I mean? I don't care. I'm just pointing it out as a thing that's happening. It doesn't affect me at all. I don't care. It's their lives. They can do whatever they want. Them being in a relationship does not negatively affect me. The people it negatively affects, that's a you problem. You know what I mean? Or their potential close families, it could negatively affect. If you're not close family, then it's a self-inflicted wound. In every one of these situations. You know what I mean? Whether it's you looking at a relationship going, how did those two end up together? That's ridiculous. Why do you care? You're probably never going to see them again. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. You're walking down the street and you see 2 people together and you think that they shouldn't be together based on one look. Why do you care? Why are you letting it affect you? It doesn't matter. If you're on a diet and you see somebody eating a donut, don't get mad at them. They're not on the diet. You know what I mean? So we've talked about this crap before, and it's always fascinating how the lengths people will go through for drama. And it just, how does it affect you exactly? How is this affecting you? You know, like people getting all super excited about the Taylor Swift marriage and stuff like that. It's like, how is this going to positively affect your life? Because you're a fan, you're happy that she's getting married, cool. But once again, does it really affect your life objectively? No. You'd be a fan, be happy for her, absolutely. But a lot of people are acting like it's going to completely change their life. How is Taylor Swift getting married to Travis Kelce going to actually, for real, impact your life? Like, seriously. Once again, you can be a fan, be happy for him, cheer for him, root for him, all that crap, but it's not going to have an objective effect on your life unless you're, like, part of their inner circle. You know what I mean? So, all that crap aside, this whole situation with the clothes shopping and stuff, that was fun. Them using like the soundproof magic and stuff like that for their conversation, that was neat. Benimaru still has a sweet tooth in case anybody forgot. So this was on brand. You got to appreciate the attention to detail with stuff like that. They went over like logistics, obviously another pseudo meeting episode. It is what it is, but you have to know what you're getting into with the show. This is totally fine. This is something that they'd be talking about. Strategic, location of Tempest, Oregon, that kind of stuff. What it would take to get to the West. You know what I mean? So that's pretty bog standard. Raphael at this point has her plan. She's gonna institute at a certain point, just to do whatever. And then the one thing that I will mention here is that they talked about the gun stuff. And I saw this when it first came out, and this was the exact image that I saw was this, and then the whole Shuna thing, and people talking about, oh man, Shuna with a gun. It's like, this is like the argument where, after Goku achieves Super Saiyan God, when he goes Super Saiyan, he is nerfing himself. If Shuna started using a firearm, she'd be nerfing herself. She doesn't need a firearm. If she had a firearm, it'd be to purposely nerf herself to give the opposition a shot at winning.
Yeah, it's like Doom guy using guns. He uses guns to prolong the fight.
Yeah.
Why would she need a sniper rifle when she has an orbital laser?
Yeah, she absolutely this does nothing for her. But it's funny that this was funny for what it was. But the thing that I wanted to get at for this kind of thing is like there was several people in a discussion, and it was like another reactor talking about like how ridiculous it is that they're bringing guns into this world and how out of place it is for this kind of world. It's like, you realize the amount of technological progress Tempest has made for this world in 2 years, right? A gun is not out of the question for another next step, and there are already firearms in this world that are being carried by another worlder. You know what I mean? So to say that it's ridiculous and outlandish and all the other buzzwords this guy was using, it's like, what are you talking about, man? They're already making massive technological advancements. You know what I mean? Guns are not out of the question. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, we're going into industrial era here, which is when like a lot of the major guns were developed in the first place, because that's around World War I, World War II.
Right.
And once again, yeah, we've already had guns introduced to this world by that other worlder.
Yeah. So and a sidearm like this absolutely was produced in this era. You know what I mean? I hate to break it to people, but machine guns have been around for over a century. You know what I mean? So even things like bolt action sniper rifles and hunting rifles like that, they've been around for quite some time. This is not a new thing. You know what I mean? These kind of more modern firearms have been around longer than, at this point, than they have not been around since the institution of like black powder firearms. You know what I mean?
The Gatling gun.
You know.
The Gatling gun was first invented and deployed in 1861.
Yeah.
As the first fully automatic weapon.
Yeah. So, where Tempest is at, and where they're pushing the technological boundaries of maybe they can get something that deals with itchy sinus nose for me because I'm losing it. This kind of firearm is not out of the question, especially with Rimuru's knowledge. Now, would they need it? Probably not. But it's not out of the question. But the people that were super complaining about this is like, you see where they're at technologically, right? This is not a stretch. It's not outlandish. There's already somebody with a gun in this world. It's not really that big of a deal. It's not like
once again,
if they started busting out like actual space lasers, you know what I mean? That would be and sci-fi stuff. Then yeah, you could probably call that into question. You know what I mean?
Yeah, once again, technology-wise, they're like late 1800s, early 1900s currently, technology-wise.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, that was my like pseudo spoiler about like what people were talking about and like getting super uppity about like, I can't believe they're doing firearms in this series. It's like, firearms are a nerf to 95% of the fucking denizens of this world. It doesn't do anything for them. You know what I mean? they can use magic that is strong. Even weak magic is going to be stronger than your average firearm. You know what I mean? So unless you're going to enhance it, unless you can enhance your bullets with magic, then yeah, whatever. But still,
Yeah, unless there's some sort of there turns into some sort of gun magic, there doesn't really. It's the only like real advantage guns give is the same advantage they give in real life, and that is just they're the everyman's weapon. It takes very little effort to pick one up and learn how to use it.
right? If you had the capability of even somebody like Gobta, what does this do for you? Nothing. Maybe like a distraction. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of weird to me that people are getting all bent out of shape about this one. The everyman could benefit from this, but the vast majority of the main cast and main cast adjacent just it's nothing burger. So I don't know. That was what it was. Maribel continues to scheme and plot and whatnot. It was fun. He's a good character for that. Yuki, once again, something that we need to clarify and was pointed out to Age was there can be multiple people with Sin power. So in this case, my whole thing with Yuki is he could have stronger greed than her. You know what I mean?
Yeah, apparently it was clarified to me.
Let's not forget that Yuki's goal was to rule the world. That's his toast with Clayman. You know what I mean? So maybe not as like super evil dictator, but he wanted to be in charge. That's pretty greedy. The whole world.
Yeah, it was clarified to me that the sin skills are just like a thematic skill line. It's not like a thing of there's only one person who wields greed. It's that multiple people can wield the same sin.
Right.
So like just because Maribel is the current wielder of greed doesn't mean there couldn't be like 3 or 4 other wielders of greed out there.
Yep. So that's pretty much where I'm at for where Yuki is. Because while Maribel is a technically a reincarnation and potentially stronger than Yuki, just based on like from a baseline standpoint, she is still a little girl, and all she seems to have going for her at current, from what we know, is just that greed power. You know what I mean? Yuki has had formal training from Shizu. You know what I mean? He is a master swordsman of the guild. You know what I mean? That kind of thing.
Yeah, he's the Grand Master of the guild and has had somewhere around a decade-ish of time in this world training, whereas Maribel's also had about a decade-ish in this world, but it's been growing up.
Right.
And presumably she got more powers than just her greed power out of her reincarnation, since she was reincarnated like Rimuru, and Rimuru got like 4 or 5 powers alongside Gluttony.
Yeah.
We still have yet to actually have any sort of indication as to what her other powers might be.
Yeah. Either way, then we went straight into the council meeting and whatnot. Then this was full on HRE. My country is bigger than you, so we're better than you. But we're all equals, though. Super pinky swear. We're all equals. Equals in very big quotation marks.
Yeah, we're all equals. I'm just more equal than you are.
Yep. So that was fairly classic. We talked about it during the episode. I really don't want to get into it again because characters and people like this aggravate me. They're the kind of people you want to punch in the face because it's just like literally vomit-inducing. So that's where Rimuru's at. But he did pull the exact response that you would want to pull with people like this is, yeah, we'll see what we can do. The classic response, but not committing to anything. Very middle manager.
Yeah, the full-on middle manager. Just yes and move on.
Yeah, yes and move on. Yep, okay. So there was that. They had to pull the whole, like, you know, putting him at the center of the room kind of deal, and so that they could all look down on him and gang up on him kind of situation. It's a typical political scare tactic, and it's stupid. And to make you feel less than you are. You know, it is what it is. it's a real tactic when it comes to negotiation and stuff like that. I talked about it at the end of the reaction as well, as like they would use a tactic to seem to look like they're negotiating from place of power when they're not really, because Tempest could crush them in a heartbeat. Like I said, Soe and his elite team could end every single one of their leaderships in a night. You know what I mean? And there'd be no actual ground war.
Yeah, it would take the entirety of the Western nations to even pose any sort of a threat to them, and the biggest threat to them, the two biggest threats to them from the Western nations are Lubelios and the Elves, and they both have non-aggression pacts with Tempest already, so they wouldn't join.
Yep. So this whole situation was what it was. Talked about a little bit at the interaction, and don't really want to go into it again. But yes, never expect somebody to have a supercomputer in their head. So there's that. Most of this is their language, so I can't really decipher it. I don't know if anybody's deciphered their language. All the revisions and stuff that Rimuru had Raphael do were definitely impressive, because the foreman had to. It took 3 hours. We didn't get the SpongeBob, cutaway 3 hours later thing, but Rimuru in the background does mention that it took them 3 hours to come back with the revision that resulted in the table flip and destruction, which is what Maribel wanted here, obviously, so she could then do her thing. But I'm very interested to see what the absolutely probably outlandish thing is that they asked for. You know what I mean? Because they were already asking for stuff that, like he points out, asking for the army and renting it out for protection, reasonable. Asking for them their equipment for basically nothing is kind of insane. You know what I mean? Just kind of like from a reverse engineering standpoint is like, yeah, that's pretty dangerous. You know what I mean? So you don't want to just give that kind of stuff out for free as part of a like a negotiation to join the council. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not my job to outfit you guys. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, especially since, once again, like, Rimuru doesn't really have any reason to need to join the council. He's just doing this purely because his intention is to make peace. So it's more peaceful to join the council than to try to remain independent of them. Yeah. But once again, he has no actual need to join the council.
Yeah. So it will be interesting to see what caused the table flip here, because it has to be probably something incredibly outlandish.
My first thought is something along the lines of monsters like giving up rights, because once again, the Rodzos are human supremacists.
Yeah, it's going to be something very triggering for him. So, either way, I'm excited to see what it is and how Maribel works her way into the situation. So that's interesting. A+ for the table flip. I enjoyed it. You could make a Twitch emote out of that one specifically. They have the table flip emote on Twitch, but maybe do the Rimuru one and just have this right here. It's like table flip into table destruction. So it will be interesting to hear the audible gasps at the beginning of next episode. Because his Demon Lord era started leaking out, and we know that can affect people. Well, we all saw what happened with Mulemeyer. He's not okay, dude. So, either way, reasonable enough episode for what it was. I enjoyed the comedy bits. Them getting to change clothing and stuff like that is always nice and whatnot. So, I'm sure Shion will be pissed off when she finds out that they went shopping together and didn't include her. But, yeah. You got anything else for this one, Age?
No, yeah, just the whole freaking supercomputer thing of just like, yeah, here's the stack of documents, and we expect you to sign them right now and not give you any time to actually read them.
Right.
Well, what do you mean? You not only read them, but you also
you corrected my spelling and grammar? Them. Unbelievable.
Yeah, you also revised and corrected them.
Right. Solid burn. And then you have the audacity to come back and probably try to make monsters 3/5 of people. So, yeah. Anyway, all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, people, YouTube, beyond, however you're watching, as always, we appreciate you stopping by and hanging with us here in the dojo for more Anime Night in the Dojo. This was Slime, Season 4, Episode 5. So, have a good morning, evening, afternoon, whatever it is for you. Have a good one. See you next time.
Hey everyone, Victoria here. If you enjoyed the video, please consider pushing those like and subscribe buttons. Your support is greatly appreciated. Thanks again for your time, and we hope to see you again in the future.